Hey everybody, back again, and want to do a follow-up video to the one I did yesterday on my love-hate relationship with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin. If you're unfamiliar with Bitcoin, maybe check out that last video. It's a Bitcoin 101, kind of a brief summary of kind of like where it came from and how was it made and why should we care and how do you use it. Bitcoin, if you are unfamiliar with it, is very strange. It is different, and so I think that's the one reason why a lot of people don't like it is they just can't wrap their head around it. They can't understand how this money functions because it is so strange and different than normal money that we're used to today. However, as I'll talk about in this video, I think Bitcoin has a bright future ahead of it because economically it checks off all the boxes of what a currency needs to be valid. And Bitcoin does these things a little differently than normal money, but I think it's a valid currency, and I think it's value. I think it's got, like I said, a bright future ahead of it because it's economically sound, right? It's economically legit. So 6 traits of money, right? Let's get into that. For money to be considered money, for it to be currency, it has to have 6 characteristics, 6 traits all money has to be considered, again, valid. If you're missing even one of these traits, okay, you may be valuable, you may be scarce, you may be in demand, but you wouldn't be considered money. Money has to have all 6 of these things. And like I said, Bitcoin checks off all of these boxes, right? So what are these traits? They are portability, acceptability, divisibility, limited supply, durability, and uniformity, okay? And like I said, Bitcoin actually has five of the 6, but we'll get to that, okay? All right, so here we go. Portability, right? What does that mean? Well, think about it. Money must be portable, easy to carry and take with you. What happens if our money was heavy and large and cumbersome? What if we're all using gold bricks and bars, right? Imagine going to the grocery store to go get your groceries for the week, and you got to lug a sack of these heavy gold bars around, right? You throw your back out. If you're wealthy, that's a huge another problem you have. So money must be portable, easy to carry with you. So look at this dollar bill, right? It's light, it's foldable, it's small, easy, fits in your pocket. Metal coins the same way, not going to weigh you down, easy to take your money with you. Or increasingly, you don't even need this because your money is just on your account, right? If you have internet access, you have all your money with you. If you have online banking and checking, even your phone now, you can just tap and pay with things that way. So money actually is more portable today than it's ever been. And just explained it, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's the same thing. You cannot hold Bitcoin in your hand because it does not exist. It's literally like a piece of code. But because it's stored on the internet in your online account, like I say, it's with you at all times, pretty much. They even have Bitcoin ATMs now. If you see one of these, you can go up, type in your account code. You can actually withdraw money from your Bitcoin account into cash on hand if need be. But if you have an online checking account, no different than how Bitcoin works, right? It's just stored on there at all times. Next one, divisibility, right? Money must be divisible, right? Divisible, that was easy. Just cut this in half, right? If I got to make a dollar bill smaller, I just divide it like that, right? No. Divisibility means change. Can you make it into smaller denominations? So I'll have to tape this, of course. Good thing it's only a 1. That's all I have is 1s. But divisibility, right? You go to the store and you go in and say buy like a piece of gum or something. I don't know. It costs less than $1. A can of soda, okay? 75 cents. Well, here's $1. You get a quarter back. Divisibility, right? Think about if we didn't have that. Say you go to the store and you get, $18 of groceries, but say you only got a $20 bill on you, right? No divisibility, there's no change. So what do? Just give the cashier a $2 tip? Here, keep the change. Or do you have to go and buy an extra $2 of stuff to eat up all your $20 bill, right? I don't need a candy bar right now. I'm on a diet, but I don't want to lose any value in this exchange. So I better go and make sure I get $20 worth of stuff, even if I only needed 18 at the time. We don't worry about that Because again, we just get divisibility down to the penny. You always get the exact amount of money due back to you in these transactions, which is why pennies are valuable. They serve a purpose. Without them, you would be losing value in your transactions. Okay. Talked about yesterday, Bitcoin is infinitely divisible. It runs on the decimal system. So you can get as much or as little Bitcoin as you want. And a lot of people I talk to have this misconception. Bitcoin's so expensive. I don't got 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 to afford a Bitcoin right now. Okay, that's fine. You could literally buy $1 of Bitcoin if you wanted to. It's just 0.000034551%, whatever, but it is decimal. So it is infinitely divisible. You can give someone half a penny of Bitcoin if you wanted to. That's a huge strength of this currency is, again, the denominations, the visibility is literally unlimited. It's just based off of math. Okay. Next one, limited supply. Okay, this is a big one. Money is valuable because it is scarce. Go to a country that's suffering from hyperinflation, Venezuela right now. Okay, that country is just printing hundreds and thousands of dollar bills like they're going out of style. I've seen pictures and videos. Right, the streets are just full of money, hyperinflation, $1,000 bills covering the streets. But they're worthless because they printed their money into the ground. It has no value. If everyone's walking around with $1 million in their pocket, is it really worth $1 million? Of course not, okay? And that's something we're suffering again right now. Our money is being inflated. 2 years from now, this dollar bill will have less purchasing power than it does today. This dollar bill was more valuable 2 years before because there was less money in circulation. You get it, right? Inflation, we know that. Bitcoin has a hard cap to it. It's not, first of all, it's not controlled by any government. So no one can just say, oh, we got to mint more Bitcoin today. It doesn't work that way, right? Bitcoin is made by a computer mining program algorithm. That was in my last video. It's very complicated. I won't get into it. But suffice it to say, when Bitcoin was first created about 10 years ago, they put a cap. 21 million is the most Bitcoin that will ever be made. And eventually there'll be a day the mine will be empty. It will run dry, and there will be no more Bitcoin that can be created. I think there's only 21 million that will ever exist and be out in the wild. So it is actually a super scarce commodity because you just can't make any more. Okay, there could only be 21 million Bitcoin, and I think last I checked, we're only about halfway there. It's going to take another 100 years to finally get to that 21 million. The supply of Bitcoin is extremely limited, and as it gets more adopted and as time goes on, the supply actually gets kind of squeezed down and smaller from halving days where the amount of Bitcoin, how many times can I say Bitcoin? The amount of Bitcoin that's created from miners gets cut in half like every 4 years, right? So Bitcoin actually is very well protected from inflation, which is one of its strengths. Next is durability. Money must be durable, right? If money was easily destroyed, it would be risky to go and take it to the store, right? If it was easily torn or ripped, or your dollar bill, right? What happens when it goes in the wash and gets wet? It gets wet, but it doesn't get destroyed and wadded up like a piece of paper, right? Because actually we call paper money, but we know it's cloth. It's actually got more in common with a pair of your blue jeans or your t-shirt than the paper that we write on, right? Because that means the money can go through the wash and it just gets clean because it's kind of like a fabric. But what if it was paper? Oh man, I had a $100 bill on my jeans, I forgot. You just lost $100 because it's not durable. Metal coins are made of metal. Again, so they have durability. They can be resistant to the wear and tear, the flat out abuse that we put our money through every day. Jamming it into vending machines and falling on the street and in our couch cushions, right? Again, money must be tough. Bitcoin has durability because it doesn't exist. You can't break it because it's only digital, right? People say, well, it can get hacked, it can get stolen, and that has happened. But question, right? Can your online bank account, can that not happen as well? Can someone not hack into your credit card or get your PIN number? So exact same thing, right? Money online has vulnerabilities to it, and Bitcoin is no different. And your account can get hacked. Bitcoin itself can't really be deleted or destroyed because it's just all on an economic system on many different computer servers. So you just can't hack one server and erase all those bitcoins. They can be lost, right? People may forget how to access them, but they can't really, you can't destroy it because it's housed on a bunch of computers around the world. So it's actually pretty secure because of that. Next, uniformity. Money must be the same. Think about if money was constantly changing, right? Dollar bill, right? And we change a dollar bill every now and then. Harriet Tubman's going to be on the 20 in a couple years, and they keep trying to change these to make it harder to counterfeit, but it's still a rectangle. The ink is still green. The people on the front mostly are the same. The art may be different, and we're starting to add a little bit of color to them now. Like the new 50s are pretty cool with the flag, but they still have some basic uniformity to it, because if the money changed too much, people wouldn't know if it was legit or not. Like, what if next year the government says we're going to change it up to get people using more paper money? We're going to make blue dollar bills. That would be really cool, right? And then maybe red ones the next year. And then, maybe that's cool and interesting. But what happens if you're at a store and you pay them your $20 blue bill and like, blue? This is monopoly money? I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to accept it. So uniformity is important. Money must have consistency, basically, because that gives it some dependability and some trust. Bitcoin, again, is digital only. So it's uniform because it's just code, right? It has no real appearance. People may make little Bitcoins for, internet images and sharing, but those aren't real. It's like Peter Piper coins or, arcade money, whatever. So it's like a token. So that's that. Next, are we missing one? Portability, acceptability, yes. Acceptability is the last one, right? Portability we covered, divisibility, we covered limited supply, durability, uniformity. Last one's acceptability, right? And this is the one thing that Bitcoin actually is lacking right now. Money must be accepted by both parties for it to have value, okay? I can give you a $100 bill, say it's a blue $100 bill, but if you don't want it, if it's not good enough for you, is it really worth $100, right? So money has to be wanted, basically. People have to accept it, and money right now has value because it's just the standard we've all agreed that we're going to accept for trades and bartering and transactions, and that's that. Bitcoin, not there yet. There are some places that will accept Bitcoin, but if you went down to the gas station and tried to pay in BTC right now, you would get laughed at. They'd probably even ask you what's a Bitcoin, right? So it's not there, but it is coming. And every day, more and more and more companies and places and even now countries are accepting Bitcoin. And this is huge because it's the last real thing that Bitcoin needs to be valid currency. It has limited acceptability now, but as time goes on, that could very well change. And that has a big impact on Bitcoin's price and its future going forward. Right? It's got five of the six already, traits of money. When it becomes more acceptable, when Bitcoin becomes commonplace and a lot of people have it and businesses will take it, no problem. Countries, like I said right now, I think Australia, Japan, I think those countries just outright accept Bitcoin now as is. Venezuela, because their economy's trashed, Bitcoin is their de facto currency there right now because it's the only thing that does keep value. So acceptability. As acceptability rises, Bitcoin, good things will happen to it, right? I used to talk about this with my students. I'm almost done. But why do I think Bitcoin has a bright future? It's because of the acceptability. Okay, think again of here we go, supply and demand curves. Okay, this is backwards for me. So here, I think this is let's say this should be supply. I think this is the way it's supposed to go. So here's your supply, here's your demand. This is what people demand, what people want of an item or a good, and supply is how much is available. Where X marks the spot, Econ 101, is your equilibrium. It's how much people are actually willing to pay and trade for those items, how much those things are worth. As I record today, Bitcoin has dropped these last couple of days. It's about $8,000 a Bitcoin. So that's where X is right now. $8,000 is the price of a Bitcoin. The supply cannot change because, again, it is stuck at 21 million. If Bitcoin becomes super popular, we can't make any more, and probably not going to have any less unless people stop mining it. But the supply is actually rock solid steady. 21 million, we know what it is. That is not changing. So if the supply is unmovable, the only other thing that can change is your demand. Okay. So here's my question to you. Here's the question I would ask my students when I used to teach. Okay. 10 years from now, do you think there will be more or less demand for Bitcoin than there is today? Simple question. Okay. Will more people, will more businesses be using Bitcoin in the future? Or do you think in the future less people will be using Bitcoin? There you go. Okay, that will tell you the price. If more people are using Bitcoin because that supply can't change, okay, the demand's going to go up and that's going to push up our equilibrium. Here's the price going higher, higher, higher. I need a whiteboard, right? The price can only go up if more people start adopting Bitcoin. If it becomes commonplace, the value, because we can't print more to meet that demand, right? The value will go up. Or conversely, if you think that less people will be using Bitcoin in the future, then yeah, the price will go down because it's not as wanted anymore. Or, I guess, do you think exactly the same amount of people using it today will be exactly the same amount using it 10 years in the future? If that's the case, then it's just going to stay at $8,000, the current value right now. So what do you think, right? More people using it or less? I think the way we're trending, right? More and more places are accepting Bitcoin. It's becoming more mainstream. Crypto is becoming, it's still in its infancy. It's less than 10 years old as an industry. I have no doubts. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but when you just look at it this way, okay, as more and more people use Bitcoin, which I think they will, I mean, we've been seeing this since it began. The acceptability keeps increasing as it becomes more common, right? As it becomes more in demand, you are going to see that price go up and up and up, and it cannot go down unless less people use it. Okay, boom, simple. That's how I look at it. Okay, and it just depends. Is it going to be more or less used, and what do you think? So that's it for me. Video's long. I got stuff to do. I know you do too. I will put the link I had in yesterday. If you are interested in Bitcoin, if I convinced you, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I do have a link below if you sign up with a Coinbase account. It's one of those online Bitcoin bank accounts. And if you, I think, make a transaction of $100, you'll get 10 extra Bitcoin, 10 free dollars. Here you go for sign up. I will get some too, just letting you know it's an affiliate link. So just being out in the open. Sorry, I like money. But if you're interested, do check it out. I do think it has a bright future. Bitcoin is a roller coaster. There's other issues going on there. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. That's just crypto being crypto. It's a very young industry. But again, when you look in the future 10 years from now, I don't see personally how you can have less people using it than you do now. And as it becomes more acceptable as an asset, as it becomes more acceptable as a money, that value of Bitcoin is going to keep going up and up and up. And because it's so divisible, it doesn't matter if you buy $20 now, $100 now, that value is going to go up. I think simple supply and demand, right? Okay, that's it for today. Going on 20 minutes. This might be my longest video yet. I love Bitcoin. Okay, I got to go. I got stuff to do. You do too. I'll catch you later.